UK true crime stories. CCTV captured it all, the shadowy figures, the swift, brutal attack. Not on a person, but on the very vehicles meant to save lives. Welcome to UK True Crime Stories, Episode 7. I'm Sophie, and today we have 3 cases that will stay with you. Stay with us to the end, we'll come back to that opening story, and trust me, the truth is even stranger than it sounds. Our first story takes us to Londonderry, a city steeped in history, known for its vibrant community and tight-knit neighborhoods. But in early 2026, that sense of community was fractured, engulfed not by its usual bustling energy, but by a profound shock and sadness. It began on a quiet Saturday morning, a day that started like any other, but ended with a devastating discovery that would send ripples of grief across the city.
Sophie, what exactly happened that Saturday? What was the initial information people were getting?
The details were scarce at first, as they often are in the earliest hours of a major incident. What the community knew was that a woman, Amy Doherty, had died. Her death was not from natural causes. It was deemed suspicious, leading police to launch a murder investigation. Imagine the fear, the confusion, when such news breaks in a place where people largely feel safe. Suddenly, a familiar street, a familiar face, becomes part of a police cordon, a scene of forensic scrutiny.
And with a suspicious death, the immediate focus is always on who and why. How quickly did investigators move to identify a suspect?
In this case, remarkably swiftly. Within hours of the discovery, police had made an arrest. A man was taken into custody on suspicion of Amy Doherty's murder. This immediate action, while reassuring in some ways, also speaks to the urgency and gravity of the situation. It meant that investigators were working around the clock, piecing together a timeline, interviewing witnesses, trying to understand the circumstances that led to such a tragic end for Amy. The community's reaction was immediate and heartfelt. Neighbors, friends, and even those who didn't know Amy personally, expressed an overwhelming sense of loss. Statements from local leaders spoke of Londonderry being engulfed with shock and sadness. It wasn't just about the crime itself, but the violation of the peace, the sudden reminder of vulnerability in a place people called home. Floral tributes began to appear, silent testaments to a life cut short and a community in mourning.
It's those personal touches, the flowers, the quiet vigils, that really bring home the human impact of these stories. What was the police message to the public during this initial, intense period?
Their message was clear. They were committed to a thorough investigation, urging anyone with information, no matter how small, to come forward. They maintained a visible presence in the area, not just for the investigation, but also to offer reassurance to a community grappling with fear and grief. For those living nearby, the sight of police tape, the flashing lights, the constant presence of officers, served as a stark, daily reminder of the tragedy that had unfolded. It's a period of collective holding of breath, waiting for answers, for justice, for a return to some semblance of normalcy.
Stories like this one don't get told unless people are listening. If you're new here, hit subscribe. We cover real UK cases every single day, and you don't want to miss what's coming. Sophie, the next case we're looking at took investigators years to even begin to understand. This next story is one that truly underscores the devastating impact of unforeseen tragedy, and the long, arduous road families often travel in pursuit of truth and accountability. It's the story of 3-year-old Oriv Chopra, a bright, energetic little boy whose life was tragically cut short, not by malice, but by what was ultimately determined to be a medical error.
And Dan, for any parent, entrusting your child's health to medical professionals is one of the most fundamental acts of faith. When that trust is broken, or when something goes so terribly wrong, the aftermath is simply unimaginable.
Absolutely, Sophie. Oriv was just 3 years old when he underwent a routine medical procedure. The family, like any family, placed their complete faith in the hospital and its staff. But during this procedure, a trainee doctor inadvertently pierced an artery. This single, devastating mistake led to complications that Oriv, despite the best efforts of medical teams, could not overcome. His parents were left with an emptiness that no words can describe, and a profound question: why?
The initial shock and grief must have been overwhelming. How did the family begin to navigate that, and what did they do to seek answers?
Their journey was incredibly difficult. The immediate aftermath of losing a child is a blur of pain, but as the initial shock subsided, Oriv's parents began to push for a full understanding of what happened. This wasn't about blame in a vengeful sense, but about understanding the circumstances, ensuring such a tragedy wouldn't befall another family. They sought answers, not just from the individual doctor, but from the hospital as an institution. This led to a lengthy and emotionally draining process of investigation, inquiries, and legal proceedings. For years, Oriv's mum, in her own words, described the strain it put on the family as something that has killed us. Imagine enduring that level of emotional and psychological pressure, all while grappling with the loss of your child. It's a testament to their love for Oriv and their determination that they persevered.
And what was the outcome of that relentless pursuit of justice and accountability?
Eventually, after years of campaigning and pushing for answers, the hospital issued a full and public apology. This wasn't just a perfunctory statement, it was an acknowledgement of the error, recognition of the profound suffering Oriv's family had endured. For his parents, this apology, while it could never bring Oriv back, was a crucial step in their healing process. It validated their pain, confirmed their suspicions, and hopefully, will lead to systemic changes to prevent similar tragedies. It became a story about the quiet courage of a family fighting for truth, and ultimately, finding some measure of peace through an official acknowledgement of their son's preventable death.
I never get used to these. If you've been sharing these episodes with friends, thank you. It genuinely helps more people discover the channel. Hit subscribe if you haven't already.
And now, back to that chilling cold open.
In a quiet corner of London, Golders Green is known for its serene residential streets and a vibrant, close-knit community. It's a place where you'd expect the biggest drama to be a lost pet, not an attack on emergency services. But in early 2026, that tranquility was shattered in a way that left everyone asking, why?
That's right, Sophie. The incident we're talking about involved Hatzalah, a volunteer Jewish organization that provides vital emergency medical response in the area. They are often the first on the scene, offering critical aid and support, true lifeline for the community. So when their vehicles, symbols of hope and immediate help, became the targets of an attack, it sent shockwaves far beyond Golders Green.
And what made this particularly chilling, Dan, was that it was all captured on CCTV. Imagine watching footage of individuals deliberately targeting vehicles that are there to save lives. It's a profound betrayal of public trust, and a deeply disturbing act.
The footage showed suspects approaching the Hatzalah vehicles, which were parked up, waiting to be called into action. The attack wasn't random, it was deliberate. The vehicles were damaged, and the very service they provided was momentarily put at risk. This wasn't just property damage, it was an assault on a volunteer organization, on people who dedicate their time to helping others.
The community's response was one of outrage and disbelief. How could someone target those who are there to help? There was a strong sense of solidarity with Hatzalah, and a clear message that such acts would not be tolerated. This wasn't just about a few damaged vehicles. It was about the sanctity of emergency services, and the protection of those who selflessly serve.
Police quickly launched an investigation, using that crucial CCTV footage to try and identify those responsible. The images, though often grainy, provided vital clues, allowing detectives to piece together movements and potentially identify the attackers. The call went out to the public: if you recognize these individuals, if you have any information, come forward. This was a crime that affected the entire community, and the community was determined to help find answers.
It's a stark reminder, Dan, that even in the quietest of places, the unexpected can happen. And that the commitment of volunteer organizations, who step up when others are in need, is something to be cherished and protected, never targeted. The investigation is ongoing, and the hope is that justice will be served, sending a clear message that such attacks on vital services will not be tolerated.
That's UK True Crime Stories for today, Episode 7. These stories are inspired by real documented cases. If today's episode moved you, share it with someone who'd appreciate it. It really does make a difference. If you have information about any unsolved case, please contact Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111, anonymously, anytime. Subscribe for more true crime every day, and if you're interested in real UK money stories, debt, savings, financial freedom, check out our sister channel UK Stories.